Thank you for watching this short video on how to best use the Caregiver Setup section found under the Caregiver Applicant settings. We will cover the second half of the Caregiver Applicant settings in the fifth video. The Caregiver Setup section allows you to choose how you will pay your caregivers, how they will request break times, and how your agency will process overtime work. Beginning on the main dashboard, hover over and click on the Admin tab. This will bring you to all admin preferences, but in this video, we will focus on the Caregiver Applicant section, so go ahead and click on that tab over here on the left. The first option you'll see is Overtime Use Weighted Rate. This naturally comes disabled, meaning that for overtime, you'll pay time and a half. However, if you want to enable this preference, when you pay overtime, you'll use a weighted average of all of the payments. Moving on is Payment Hours. If you choose Pay Visit Hours, which is selected now, then you will always pay your caregivers for how long the visit was scheduled to take, even if it lasted shorter or longer than it was supposed to. If you choose Pay for Hours Worked, you will only pay the caregivers for the amount of time that they were actually working. The following options, pay break, meal, sleep, and intervisit travel times, are fully up to each agency, and if any box is checked, this simply means you would be paying for those times in a caregiver shift. The weekly and daily overtime thresholds can be moved to best suit the amount of overtime pay you are willing to pay on each separate interval. The following options about requesting break times, meal times, and sleep times dictate how caregivers are prompted to report these things during their visit. These options tend to be used most during live-in visits. If you have telephony checked, telephony will automatically ask each of those questions during the visit, whereas if you have the other non-telephony options checked, an internal user from the office would have to ask these questions and record them for payment changes. Most people use telephony or the Access Care app. The next option allows for intervisit travel time to either be applied before or after the visit. If the next option, auto-calculate intervisit travel time, is on, it will be used instead of entering the time in manually, because it will have live data from their travel times. If this option is turned on, the maximum number of minutes between visits where intervisit travel time occurs is applied. For example, if set to 120, intervisit travel time will not be applied to visits where the scheduled start time of the subsequent visit is more than 2 hours after the scheduled end time of the previous visit. Setting this to 0 causes this setting to be ignored. The following certification section is used when you want to assume a caregiver has taken the appropriate amount of sleep, meal, and break times. You will need to use the slider bar to select the amount of time the visit must be before this information is displayed. This is normally only used for live-ins. This area will be displayed to the caregiver, and they will need to agree instead of manually entering their sleep, meal, and break times. The certification text under Care Notes in the next area is what will display on the Care Note if you are using the assumed sleep, meal, and break times.